Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing another foundation review video, which I haven't done one of these in a while because not a lot of cruelty-free foundations I feel like have come out recently that I could review for you guys, but I just got a giant package in the mail from Catrice Cosmetics, and this is actually the first time I've ever heard of them. All the YouTubers that I watch, I've never heard about this brand, so I feel like it's fairly, it might not be new, but it's a little bit unknown, at least for me. It's just not a brand that I've really heard of that much. They sent me this box with their full line of foundations. This is what the foundations look like. They're in these beautiful glass bottles. They're in dropper form. I think medium beige is actually my color right now. I got it in my hair. So if you're a similar color to me, I would definitely recommend nude beige in the winter and medium beige in the summer. So I'm gonna swatch the lightest shade and the darkest shade so you guys can kind of see the color variety of this. So the lightest shade actually doesn't look very light, which I feel like is kind of a problem because I know there's a lot of light people in the world that have a hard time finding foundations that match, and the light color doesn't actually look very light. So that is the lightest shade and the darkest shade, and I honestly feel like they could have gone a little bit lighter with the lightest shade. That is pretty dark for the lightest shade of the line. Let me know if you have dark skin, if that looks like a nice dark shade. I'm not really too sure. I don't use dark shades that often. I feel like the range could be maybe a little bit better. Alright guys, so I already have my primer on and my moisturizer. I'm just going to put all the information right here like I normally do so you guys can kind of know the price and everything. I think this is a $10 foundation. There's no scent. I feel like if you were to kind of call this a scent though, it would be slightly kind of soapy. Like it smells like hand soap kind of, just like a soap smell. But it's extremely subtle. Like you can hardly smell it, but it does have that smell if you're gonna classify it. So this is very liquidy, as you can tell. It's definitely not like a cream foundation. And I wouldn't necessarily say this feels like a serum foundation, you know, like that silicone, silky feel that I really like from the Physicians Formula line. It definitely has just a regular foundation feel, just really liquidy. So let's go ahead and apply this. So this is the medium beige color, and I feel like it actually matches me almost flawlessly. I have a pimple right here, so you guys are going to be able to see if it covers that. It definitely has a wetter look to it at first, but it blends really nicely, and I feel like the coverage is really good. I have freckling right here, as you guys can see, which has come more with age, and I feel like it's covering it really well on this side. You can hardly even see it. Actually, you can't see it at all. So the coverage is really good. I feel like it actually covered my under eye circles pretty well as well. Normally I use concealer, but I feel like that did a pretty good job at covering the discoloration there. So that's pretty awesome. So that is the side with foundation. This is the side without. As you guys can tell, it really covered the discoloration on my cheekbones really well, and it also covered my under eye circles really well, but it also looks extremely natural. It doesn't have a cakey look at all. And once you have it all blended, it's very matte. Like at first I was like, oh, this looks more like a glowy foundation, but it's definitely not. It definitely has that mattifying quality to it. So if you're looking for something matte, this is really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. Let's go ahead and see how this covers up right here, my most discolored area on my whole entire face. I feel like it covered up that red spot really well as well that you guys saw. I have an acne scar right here that covered up really well, and I feel like it covered up my under eye circle pretty decently as well, like that discoloration that I had here before. Like if you look at the before and after, I feel like the under eye circle and the discoloration on my cheekbone looks so much better. Like I'm not going to need very much concealer at all, I feel like. So I'm going to be using the Hard Candy Color Correct Concealer. This is my favorite concealer because it's extremely lightweight, but it does an amazing job with covering. And it also doesn't look very cakey, so I'm just going to put a little bit here under my eyes. And I'm going to be using the NYX Mineral Finishing Powder in light medium. And I don't actually need very much of this because this is already a very matte foundation, so I'm just going to do a little bit. So this is what it looks like on the skin without contour, blush, highlight, or any other makeup on my face. It's very mattifying, so if you like the mattifying look, I would definitely say this is great. And the other thing I like about this so far is the fact that it is mattifying, but it's not cakey, because I feel like sometimes with mattifying foundations, especially that are good coverage, they tend to look super cakey and they cling to your dry skin. But because this starts out really glowy and liquidy and it doesn't dry really fast, it doesn't cling to those dry patches, or it doesn't like look really dry and cakey on the skin. So I really, really like that combination. It starts wet and glowy, but then it finishes matte. It gives you time to work with it. And I just like the finish of it. It looks really natural, it looks really good on the skin, and I'm really excited to see how this lasts. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright guys, so this is what my makeup looks like with everything finished. One thing I have noticed that I've been struggling with though with foundations lately is they get, what's the word, like splotchy right here on my lower cheeks. So sometimes I'll look in the mirror like in my car or something like that, and just right down here it looks splotchy. Like it looks like the foundation kind of like wears off in little areas, and you can kind of see this weird splotchy look to my skin, and I have to like go like this with my hands because it just looks really, really weird. So I really want to see if this foundation ends up doing that. And usually I notice that when I'm in my car, so I'm going to check that when I go pick up my girls from school. So I will let you guys know what I think, and I will check back in like 4 hours, 5 hours or so, and let you guys know. Alright you guys, so it is now 9:30 p.m. and I've had this foundation on since like 10:30 this morning, and I almost forgot actually that I needed to film this, so I'm in my pajamas right now. I took off my eyelashes and I kind of had to like touch up my eyeliner and stuff, so I apologize for that, but I actually have not touched up my foundation at all today. It's been just the foundation I applied this morning. I haven't applied powder or anything like that. Do you guys hear that train in the distance? I can hear it, the window's open. So yes, I haven't touched up my foundation all day long, and when I went to go get the girls from school, I looked in the mirror to see if I had like that splotchiness going on right here on my cheeks. There was absolutely zero splotchiness at all. I felt like I looked very, very flawless when I looked in the mirror. I did kind of feel like this afternoon, evening, I started to maybe feel slightly oily, just slightly. But it kind of went away. Like I feel like I don't look oily now. I feel like my skin looks really, really good. I don't know why that is. But yeah, I feel like I stayed pretty darn matte for the most part all throughout the day. And I didn't feel like this wore off at all. So I'm really, really happy about that. I just feel like it looks really good for having it on for as long as I have. So I'm going to do some close-up shots for you guys so I can kind of show you what it looks like close up. So I do feel like you can see this red spot right here that was covered this morning, but it's no longer covered. I feel like my cheekbones and like the freckling on my cheekbones are still pretty covered. My bronzer and my highlighter and my blush is still on pretty well. I feel like it faded slightly, but for the most part, you can still see the highlighter and everything. My pores, you can kind of see my pores right here, but I don't feel like that's that uncommon, but it does look a little bit more oily than it did this morning. But for the most part, my chin and everything, I feel like I look pretty darn good. If you do have a lot of red spots like this, like if you do have acne, just know that this is what my pimple looks like. So that is it guys, that is it for this foundation review. I think this foundation is amazing. I really love the coverage of it. I really like how matte it is and how my skin looked throughout the day, and I love that it didn't get splotchy here on the cheeks. That's just been a huge problem for me lately for some reason, and I feel like I really like how my contour looks still, because sometimes I feel like when that splotchiness does happen, it can kind of affect my contour a little bit, but I still feel like it looks really, really good and very blended and nice. So I think this foundation is great. I really like it, and it's only $10, and it's in a really, really nice high-end packaging as well, which is awesome. So great price, and I think it's definitely worth a try. I really like this, but I feel like this would definitely be good for drier skin if you want a matte foundation with dry skin, because I feel like sometimes people with dry skin are afraid of matte foundations because they don't want it to look like it's like clinging to their dry spots. But because it started out so liquidy, I feel like it's the perfect mattifying foundation for somebody with really, really dry skin, because it's really easy to work with right at first. It's really easy to blend out, and it has like that more liquidy feeling at the beginning. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if any of you guys are going to buy this foundation, and yeah, I hope you guys like this video. So have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!